Jenkins with Home Dream Realty, and we are actually here today for our first ever weekly Q&A show. Whoop! The Facebook Live is a little different angle. We are on Instagram and we are on Facebook, and it is pretty awesome. I don't know, this is crazy and unusual, and this is Rick's first time, so this is kind of cool. This is funny. So today we actually decided that we would do a weekly Q&A, and we thought that we would call it Adventure Ventures. This was Rick's idea, so why don't you explain why you wanted to do that?
So the reason I came up with this name was because we like new things. We like adventures, and we like things that are fun, both business, professional, but as well as, personal, when we're talking about things we like to do. So I wanted something that was all-encompassing, something that included our business life, but also included our personal life. So that's where I came up with Adventures Ventures.
Yes! Kind of a little tongue twister, but the thing is the idea is we did this a lot for fun. Yes, to answer some questions and to get out and help our clients and things like that, but also for fun, because we
on the road, and so we are going to be able to share our adventures with you. And thankfully, we have an awesome team, and so we can pretty much work from anywhere there's internet. So yes, we do work every day, and anyone that has ever worked with us or knows us knows that we do work every day. And half the time,
knows if we're in town or out of town, because they are definitely taken care of no matter where we're at. So that's what it is. We thought we'd do this for fun, and love to see the people joining us. Little hands up there. Thank you so much. Give you a wave. And so want to get into this. We thought our first question that we would do is, we get this asked a lot. What is the most important thing that you should do when trying to sell your home? So we thought we'd tell you that, but also tell you some funny stories that we've had along the way. So I've been in the business, 15 years, and Rick's been in now almost 13 years. And we've been in this just a bit. And so we've seen a lot.
Sometimes our eyes burn because we've seen too much.
No, seriously. So Rick and actually other people have told me multiple times, we should write a book. And some things we really can't talk about. I'll tell you that. And with definitely, there'll be no addresses, no names, no nothing. And so nobody will know anything.
Just adventures.
So, staging your home. That's one of the most important. First thing that you need to do when staging your home is clean it.
So what I tell people is, keep it clean, but start to eliminate, everything you think is important, take it off. Take everything off the counters. Act like you don't live there, to be honest with you. Try to make it so that when they walk in the home, they'll be like, is this home occupied? That's how it needs to look. They don't need to see that you have a bowl with your earrings in it. They don't need to see your mouthwash.
No money left out.
Money, change.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, jewelry. All that stuff.
No prescriptions either.
Oh my gosh.
Nowadays.
Oh my
Never
gosh.
had an issue, but we don't want one.
Right.
Guns? Oh my gosh. And now I get the question, should I leave this gun safe here?
Oh, I have a gun next to my nightstand.
Should I leave that gun next to my nightstand?
No. No.
There will be strange people in your home. Yes, they will be accompanied by a realtor.
And they shouldn't be going through your nightstand anyway.
No, they shouldn't.
That's not the point.
We cannot control people. And
yes.
Again, we have never had an issue on that route, but we do not want one. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've had circumstances where my one client, I was the listing agent, one client left her gun.
Hey, James Wood.
Forgot to put it away, and she was calling me nervously saying, Rick, oh my gosh, there's a showing today. I didn't put my gun away. Of course it was loaded. Of course it was unlocked. And so immediately had to call that agent and cancel that showing and take it off the market that day.
Oh my goodness.
So these are the things that you just don't, you have to, you warn them, you discuss, you make sure they're aware, but sometimes people forget. I mean, just one of those circumstances.
So those pictures that you see online on Zillow and how your house should look and everything else, yes, your house needs to look like that. It needs to look like nobody lives in your house. Your house is no longer lived in. It is on the market for sale. That is the best way you can get the highest dollar, the most price. Also, so for clutter, you want to declutter. I usually tell people to use a rule of 3. So if there are 3 items on a shelf, that is all you need. Everything else must go. 3 items. So if there's a fireplace mantle, 3 items. Everything else must go. No personal things. No personal
Pictures.
take down, no pictures. Take down the awesome retirement memorabilia from the military. That is great. Take down all those sports trophies. Anything personal.
Yeah.
Because then what happens is the person comes in your house and they start looking at, oh my gosh, look, little Joey got a swim trophy and there's this picture and his little medal and oh my gosh, you know, he retired as a chief from the Navy, you know, and they start looking at that and they don't look at your house and then they can't imagine themselves living there.
They become, I find it's very shocking because some of my buyers, and they were people, but these buyers would go in and they would try to do almost a CSI investigation of this person.
Yes.
They start looking at the pictures and they're trying to say, I think he was this, or they'll happen to open up a closet and they'll see a uniform. I think he was that.
Oh yeah, that thing too. Yeah.
And so just know that it is a distraction because they shouldn't be looking at any of that stuff. But I know a lot of times people are proud and they're putting their memorabilia up. I just remember this.
People are nosy.
And people are nosy.
Yes.
And so when you combine nosy people with your clutter, it's a perfect tornado, a storm.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of clutter, I'm going to make sure that all of those magnets and things, hey Megan, how are you doing? Thanks for checking in. So I want to make sure that all of those magnets and things are off of the refrigerator. You know, we love the fact that, you know, your family's there, you care about them. That is so awesome. But want to make sure that they're definitely taking things off and such. And so we have more, but I want to tell you a crazy quick story. So this is a clutter story. All right. I had the buyer on this story. And it was a home, great house, whatever. It looked like great house from the outside. And this actually goes to another one of the rules. If your house is on the market and you're going to have a showing, leave. Leave the house during showings. It's so much better. You don't want the buyers to ask you questions and put you in a corner to where you're actually negotiating a contract and you have no idea and they're like, they said, you know, you don't want that. And the other thing, I mean, it's another distraction. So please leave the house. So on this story, I was going to this house, had this family, so walked in, and first off, the husband is just reclining in the lazy boy. He's got the TV full blast, and I'm like, is it okay to see the house? And he's like, yes, and I'm like, will you be leaving? No, just look around. Okay. First faux pas, don't do that. Right, and then of course the next thing is we could barely see where the steps were. The place was such a disaster area. It was so horrible, right? So bad. And thanks for thumbs up. And so it was so bad, this house. And so we're walking along, and then also as we're walking, doors were shut. So I had to holler back to the living room if we needed to go in a bathroom. Is it okay to go in here? Oh, yeah. Is it okay to go in here? Yeah. So we enter the master bedroom, and of course, all the lights are off. Things are dark, so we're turning on lights. And so that's a good idea, is have your house staged with the lights on, make it bright and pretty, clean again. So we go into this master bedroom, and I'm like, it's okay, right? Yeah. And
was the bed made?
I don't know. Okay, yeah. So the bed, right, I don't know, because you could not see the bed. The bed had humped up clothes and just, I think there was like a plate with food on it. There was just all this stuff like on the bed. I mean, it was this
Was it
pile.
laundry day?
Maybe. I don't know, because there were clothes everywhere else too. They were on the floor. There was, dirty underwear. Do not leave dirty underwear, okay? Don't leave dirty underwear. So the whole point is we're looking around the bedroom, and suddenly the bed moves. It moves, okay? So I scream, the buyers scream, and underneath all of this crap on the bed climbs out the wife. The wife was sleeping underneath all of this stuff. And I guess with all the commotion, screaming, everything else, we woke her up. I don't know. So that is not how you want to sell your home. Definitely not. So
I think the best analogy is when you go into a hotel room.
Yes.
The bed is
Perfect.
made. Everything is in its place. There's not a lot of clutter. Just imagine it as a hotel room. You're going in there for the first time. That's what the buyer wants to see, and that's how the seller should present itself. Try to make it clean, simple, and not a lot of clutter. Because honestly, they get hung up. I remember one time there was a calendar left on the fridge. You mentioned the fridge items. And again, another buyer of mine walked in, went right to the fridge and started staring at the calendar on the fridge like, oh, Johnny has a teeth cleaning on Monday, and then, oh, I've got a doctor's appointment this day, and it's like, no. I mean, I can't control my crazy buyers, but you can control what they see, so let's not give them distractions on seeing things that they don't want to see.
Exactly. Okay, so also, let's get another, personal things around the house. If you got personal things around the house that are only for your enjoyment, right, probably want to put those away. Got another funny story for you. Rick's laughing because he knows this story. This is hilarious. So, went on a listing appointment this one time, and they were asking, what should we do to get the house ready, right? And the wife is giving me a tour. Sweet as can be, young couple. And they had a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, and she was also pregnant, right? So we get to the master bedroom, and there's a pole. Yes, a dancing pole. And it was bolted in. And so she looks at me, and I look at her, and she's like, that has to go, doesn't it? I said, yes, that has to go. That really has to go.
So those types of things, I've seen the dancing poles before, and it's like, I don't know, maybe it's my age.
It could be an attraction. Hey, you got to get the right buyer.
Not when my clients are 60, 70, they're looking at a dancing pole like, what do I do with this thing? It's there's a different demographic, so it's definitely, I would say that's a turn on.
Yeah, that's a turn on. Well, maybe not for some. 3 kids? I don't know. 6? Who knows?
Right. Okay.
Could be a turn on.
Yeah. The other thing that I will say is we all love pets. We have pets ourselves. We watch pets.
Yeah, we love pets.
We love dogs, particularly. I love my crazy kitty cat. But one thing that I will remind people of, particularly because as a buyer's agent, I show a lot of homes, but you don't realize how much fur is swept up into the corner. You don't realize that, little Zuzu's.
Zuzu! We love Zuzu.
Little Zuzu's poops that are in the backyard. When you're walking around in the backyard, you don't want to have to remind your buyer, hey, be careful of where you step.
Landmines.
Yeah, because remember, they're going back into the house.
Yeah, that's not good.
So, it's little things like that. Just put things away, clean it up, make sure that everything is, like you don't even have a pet,
Exactly.
Put your pet away. Secure it.
Exactly. Definitely. So, and with those, too, pretty much any evidence of the pet, because you don't know if somebody's allergic or not allergic or whatever, and so if you leave a dog bowl or a cat bowl out, they actually might not really be feeling anything, but if they see it, they might be like, oh my gosh, I can't buy this house because they might have a pet or something, and now I'm going to have allergies, or there might be fleas, or who knows.
Oh, yeah.
So, you really just kind of want to sterilize the entire house.
Right, and don't let the seller know who the seller really is.
Right, exactly. Pretty pillows,
Right. Because honestly, the seller doesn't know who the buyer is. Right. So make it go the other way around, too.
That's actually also what has come up recently in our documentation and in our paperwork. The whole idea now of, as you can see, we're live, right? Cameras. Okay, so we actually have to disclose in our paperwork now whether or not there's cameras in the house and whether or not there are sound with those cameras. Okay, because the idea is that when a buyer is looking at a house, they actually might start talking and say, oh, I like this house, I don't like this house, different things about the house. And so it has come up, and actually there's been court cases to where people have been sued because they said, well, we didn't have our privacy to be able to negotiate our offer, and there was an inside scoop and all this type of thing. So definitely just we have to disclose the cameras. So if you have cameras, make sure there's no sound on the cameras. Having the cameras isn't as big of a deal as the sound. I guess the sound is the big deal.
Well, in our office, for example, we have a sign that says that we have video recording and sound recording that's going on in our office. And the reason we do that is really a lot of people are on their best behavior when they're on camera. I mean, look at me. I'm smiling. We're happy. But reality is, we don't know who's going to come to our office, and we want to make sure our employees are protected. And so that's why we installed cameras.
Catherine!
And that's why we did that, to protect our employees. But I know that's probably the rationale behind the seller, but keep that in mind as a buyer's agent. When I'm showing the home, if I see any evidence of any cameras, I do and I'll point.
They might be able to read lips.
Well, there was this one particular person. He was a secret squirrel.
Oh.
He looked like a seller who was a secret squirrel, and my client was interested in his home.
See, he was nosy.
And so I'm noticing these things. He had a camera right at the front door as we walked in. And so before we even stepped inside the house...
Now they have those doorbell cameras.
Oh, yeah, Ring doorbell.
Yeah!
I said... And we didn't say anything while we were in the house. I would point things out, but we didn't talk about whether we liked it, didn't like it, or anything like that. So we just have to be very careful these days. You never know who's listening, watching.
Exactly. So, hey, Catherine. Catherine's there too. So, I think, is there anything else you want to add, or?
Yes. Okay. So there's a couple other instances that I thought would be worth mentioning. Smells. Okay. So when you go into a home, one of my key evaluations is the smells of a home. And I remember going into one of the homes I was showing, and they must have just cooked fish because it smelled fishy. And it was not a pleasant smell. And I remember...
Curry can do that too. Curry's bad. Don't cook with curry when your house is on the mark.
Oh my gosh. But any of those things, they're going to be, whether the buyer likes the home or not, it's immediate reaction, positive or negative. So, I mean, I've been into homes where they actually have a crock pot going and there's a roast going, and
that smells good.
That smells great. I'm ready. I'm ready to eat. Cookies? Yeah, those are good. But the ones that are turnoffs that are not particularly positive, just keep that in mind. I've even gone into homes where they have those strong smell, like those glazed.
Yeah. Sometimes those are going to be too much. Too
much smells. I mean, it's nice to have a pleasant smell and a clean smell, but not a...
You wonder if it's masking something.
Right.
Like sometimes they'll mask a pet odor, but it doesn't really help. It actually makes it worse.
Right. So smells, keep that in mind. And then
the other thing I want to add about that. So we have had crazy weather this year. Crazy weather. I mean, it is raining literally every darn day. And it's not like just a little... No, this is buckets, torrential downpour, craziness like you would not believe. And so what that's doing is creating moisture in crawl spaces because of the different temperature fluctuations with your air conditioning systems and the heat outside and all this water. And drainage is an issue and your gutters are an issue. But what's happening is the crawl spaces, if you have crawl spaces, could be basements, could be leaking or whatever. And this is just this craziness that's going on with this weather. But because of this, so I have asthma, and so I can tell this really quick. I'll walk into a house and I'll smell mildew. Now, I'm not saying mold. We don't really have mold issues in this area. It has to be tested, okay? But it'll have a mildewy, musty smell, and I can immediately know that there's some type of issue with the crawl space and such. So those are things that you want to be keeping in mind, is making sure your drainage is going away from the house, that your gutters are clean so that it can actually drain properly, so that the water isn't sitting near the foundation and things like that, and actually also causing mustiness into the thing. If you're having a major problem also with the mildew in your crawl space and things, we've actually had our HVAC people install ducts into the crawl space to actually help regulate the temperature. if your HVAC ducts are not insulated in the crawl space, that actually will create moisture, because what happens is the air in the crawl space is hot, and then the ducts are not insulated, and then they condensate and drip.
With air conditioning, again.
Yep.
They drip.
And then with the weather that we've had, it's just wet, 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 and then you just have breeding ground for mildew.
Right. Yeah. So definitely keep in mind the smell dynamic.
Smells can give you warnings to other things.
Yeah, other issues that could be underlying and things like that. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The only other one that I want to bring up that was just on the latest adventures of when Rick helps a buyer find a home. Okay, so we went into this one house, and it was obviously laundry day.
Oh.
And they are good about washing their clothes, which is great, but we really don't need to see the kinds of underwear and bras that they use, because it becomes kind of a topic of discussion where we should be talking about the house.
Hey, Dave.
We should not be talking about somebody's thongs.
No!
And so, again, just put things away, hide things, but just put things away. They don't belong out in the open. So if you can avoid doing those types of things, it won't leave one of those my eyes are burning experiences. So.
Exactly. So, hope this was fun and hope this helps you. We actually talked about what's the most important thing to selling your home, which is staging. So, want to make sure that it's clean. Want to use a rule of 3. You don't live in your house anymore. Make sure that there's
keep the smells
down. Put everything away and depersonalize. Declutter, depersonalize. So. Definitely help. Next week we'll actually be on location. We're going to be on location in Canada. Okay, so we'll be filming from Canada. I'm sure we're going to find out some great things there. Run into some awesome people, and we'll talk about that. And who knows? Maybe we'll talk about the RV a little bit. That's what we're planning on doing, is RVing up to Canada.
Adventures.
So we'll be in St. John's, I think, next week at this time. So definitely tune in and check us out. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, of course, you can comment here, which is great. Send us your questions either by commenting here, email, text, or giving us a call. And if you do need any help, of course, with sales, property management, investing, and renting, we can definitely help you. You guys have an awesome, awesome day and a very blessed week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Make sure to save it. Okay, save it. Gotta save it. It says I'm still live. I'm still live.
Share.
You're gonna share. I'm trying to figure this one out. There it is. End.